The year 1971. The location, Westphalia, Germany. And in the suffocating darkness of a wardrobe, Aldi supermarket co-founder Theo Albrecht, by then already a man of considerable wealth, faces the harrowing reality of his own kidnapping. Outside, his unlikely captors whisper in hushed murmurs, hoping to abscond with some of Theo and his brother's multi-billion-dollar fortune. Yet, amidst this turmoil, Theo's thoughts turned not to despair, but to determination. He envisioned a future where, if he were to escape this ordeal, he would not only expand his family's supermarket empire to unprecedented heights, but do so with a newfound commitment to secrecy. Indeed, this vision of the Albrecht dynasty's future victories was a lifeline for the ensnared Theo, a promise of a future where the lessons learned in captivity, resilience, frugality, and the value of staying out of the public eye would be etched into the very foundation of his family's ethos. In today's episode, we share the shocking saga of the Albrecht family, the $50 billion founding family of the Aldi supermarket chain, and still home to some of the richest people in Europe, as we describe the wealthy family who got kidnapped and then disappeared, Aldi and the Albrecht brothers. The Albrecht family saga is one part financial fairy tale, one part epic crime thriller, all wrapped up in an old money dynasty bow. Once upon a time, or more accurately, in post-World War II Central Europe, two brothers, Theo and Carl Albrecht, embarked on an aggressive quest to conquer the retail world. And conquer they did, with their treasure trove, the Aldi supermarket chain, making them among the richest people on the planet at the times of their respective demises. First, Theo, the elder, bid adieu to this realm in 2010 with $18.8 billion to his name, while Carl followed into the great beyond in 2014, his coffers brimming with $26 billion in the stash. But what of their heirs, you ask? The current descendants aren't exactly scrimping and saving. The Albrecht lineage still boasts some of the globe's wealthiest individuals to this day. Among them, a matriarch, Beta Heister, who ranks as one of the world's wealthiest women, alongside multiple sons whose bank accounts would make even Midas blush. Yes, it would seem that billions are a family tradition for the Albrechts. And the source of this colossal wealth, Aldi, short for Albrecht Discount, came from humble beginnings as a tiny food store in Essen, Germany, opened by their mother, which the Albrecht brothers transformed into a retail titan. Fast forward to 2024, and Aldi hasn't just survived. It's thriving, flexing its muscles across the global retail market with strategic expansions and an influence that has competitors watching their backs. And Aldi's business model is the epitome of efficiency, boasting cost-effective operations that have enabled ambitious expansions, notably in the UK and the US. This isn't just expansion, it's domination, with plans to sprinkle Aldi stores across landscapes far and wide. And let's not overlook Aldi's real estate empire, particularly in Germany, where they own a staggering number of stores. Investment in real estate is not just an afterthought, but a key pillar of Aldi's growth strategy, blending retail with residential or office spaces in urban areas. For instance, the book value of real estate assets in just one arm of the family's empire, Aldi Süd, alone stands at a jaw-dropping 4.6 billion euros. But there's more to the Albrechts' tale than just Aldi. The Albrecht story takes a flavorful turn with their stewardship of Trader Joe's, a gem in the American retail landscape. This isn't just a grocery store, it's a cultural icon, celebrated for its eclectic mix of products, from cookie butter to $2 chuck. And Trader Joe's has cultivated a fervent fan base, drawn not just to its products, but to its whole shopping experience, which feels more like treasure hunting than grocery shopping. Yet, despite their well-known fondness for frugality, the Albrecht brothers had their indulgences. Carl's penchant for vintage cars, for example, reveals a layer of complexity behind the austere facade. with over 100 million euros spent on classics like a 1939 Mercedes Roadster and a 1960s Ferrari. This collection was a luxurious detour from their otherwise cost-conscious ethos. And the legacy of the Albrecht Empire is securely in the hands of their descendants. Yet, despite their enormous wealth, the Albrecht scions continue to maintain a veil of privacy and a commitment to the frugality and efficiency that built their empire. But this penchant for privacy wasn't just a personal quirk, but a necessity, especially after Theo's kidnapping in 1971. This harrowing episode likely cemented the family's retreat from the public eye, choosing to live shrouded in secrecy. Yet, before we get to the juicy goss on exactly how these mega multi-billionaires got snapped up for a ransom, we have to explain how a simple supermarket got its start, turning a humble German family into some of Europe's richest individuals. Amid the smouldering remnants of World War I, Essen, Germany, emerged as the cradle of a retail revolution destined to leave an unforgettable mark on the global commercial stage. Here, in this humble setting, Karl and Theo Albrecht, sons of a miner turned baker's assistant and a pioneering grocer, embarked on a journey that would redefine the food sector forever. Born to Karl Albrecht Sr. and Anna Siepmann, Albrecht in Essen's working-class Schönebeck district, Karl on the 20th of February 1920, and Theo on the 28th of March 1922, the brothers were indoctrinated into the world of commerce through their mother's grocery store, a beacon of entrepreneurial spirit in the adversity-riddled landscape of early 20th century Germany. But the grocery store run by their mother wasn't merely a source of livelihood. It was a classroom where Karl and Theo learned the rudiments of commerce and customer service. This environment, where business operations intertwined with daily life, imbued in them an understanding of the value of quality, efficiency, and the importance of catering to the community's needs. And their unfortunate tenure in the Wehrmacht, yes, that means what you think it means. During the tumult of World War II, with Karl sustaining injuries on the Eastern Front and Theo held as a prisoner of war by US forces, did little to dampen their resolve. Upon their return to Essen, they found their familial enterprise not only intact, but ready for a new chapter under their guidance. Assuming control, Karl and Theo embarked on a mission of expansion that saw their mother's modest venture grow into a chain of 13 stores by 1950. You see, their approach was unorthodox, yet simple. Focus on a select assortment of high-quality, low-priced items, a principle that, revolutionary at its inception, would come to define Aldi's ethos. Then, 1962 marked a watershed year for the Albrechts, with the formal establishment of Aldi, an abbreviation of Albrecht Discount. This was not merely a rebranding, but a radical reimagining of the retail experience. For, eschewing the conventional supermarket model, Aldi offered a streamlined selection of products, emphasizing volume and speed over variety, and this allowed the chain to undercut competitors without sacrificing quality, a formula that proved immensely successful. Thus, the Aldi model, characterized by its ruthless efficiency and a keen eye for consumer needs, quickly distinguished itself in the German market. And the brothers' vision of a retail operation that prioritized affordability and simplicity over frills struck a chord with consumers, soon setting the stage for Aldi's expansion beyond the borders of Germany. In the early 1960s, a notable evolution began to reshape the retail sector, primarily driven by the visionary efforts of Karl and Theo Albrecht. This era emerged as a critical juncture in the company's development, marked by swift expansion and the adoption of a retail ideology that promised to alter the grocery shopping landscape for consumers across the globe. And a cornerstone of this retail philosophy was its streamlined product range. Contrary to the practice of conventional supermarkets, which presented consumers with an extensive array of choices, Aldi opted for a more focused selection, offering approximately 1,400 of the most in-demand items. This not only made the shopping process more straightforward for consumers, but also enabled Aldi to leverage scale economies and secure more favorable pricing from suppliers. Consequently, by concentrating on high-turnover items, Aldi was able to extend considerable savings to its patrons, reinforcing its stature as a pioneer in the discount shopping sector. And further distinguishing Aldi's approach was its Spartan store design and efficient layout. The stores were conceived to optimize space utilization and reduce operational expenses. For example, merchandise was presented on pallets and in cartons, enhancing stocking efficiency and operational simplicity. Thus, this model of operation allowed for significant cost savings, which Aldi passed on to its customers, further solidifying its pledge to deliver superior quality goods at the minimum prices. However, a critical moment in the company's history, and indeed for the Albrecht family personally, was Theo's abduction in 1971. You see, as Theo Albrecht departed from his establishment in Westphalia, he fell victim to an abduction at gunpoint, orchestrated by two individuals, and this incident thus initiated a 17-day ordeal that escalated into one of the most notorious kidnapping episodes in German history. Now the captors, Heinz Joachim Ollenburg, a lawyer entangled in gambling debts, and Paul Krohn, a convicted thief known as Diamond Paul, formed an improbable partnership in crime. Furthermore, their surprise was notable when they demanded identification from their captive, struggling to believe the figure of the man they saw in front of them. The unassuming Theo was the affluent businessman they aimed to abduct. Then, the duo set the ransom at 7 million Deutschmarks, equal to around 3.5 million US dollars, marking it as the largest ransom demand in Germany to that date. And despite the grim scenario, Theo's inherent thrift surfaced as he negotiated the ransom, an unprecedented act under such circumstances. Throughout his captivity, Theo was confined within a wardrobe in a Dusseldorf residence, enduring a peculiar and stifling confinement. Ultimately, the ransom's delivery was facilitated by Franz Hengsbach, the Catholic Bishop of Essen, serving as the go-between for the Albrecht family and the kidnappers. In the aftermath, Theo sought to deduct the ransom payment as a business expense, a move that underscored his steadfast frugality even amidst personal adversity, though this claim was ultimately denied. And the abductors, Ollenburg and Krohn, faced arrest, yet authorities only managed to recover half of the ransom. In fact, the fate of the unrecovered portion remains a lingering mystery, fueling speculation that it might be concealed in Switzerland. Following the harrowing episode, Theo Albrecht retreated further from the public eye, adopting measures to ensure his privacy remained intact. His interactions with the media dwindled to non-existence, and he took extraordinary precautions to avoid being captured by photographers' lenses. Indeed, the severity of the incident drove him to adopt heightened security protocols, including the use of armored vehicles and the practice of alternating his daily commute routes. But the repercussions of this distressing period extended beyond Theo Albrecht's personal sphere, permeating the family's business ethos and private endeavors. Already known for their elusive nature, the Albrecht family retreated further into privacy, earning them a description by Forbes as being more elusive than the Yeti. And it is noteworthy that the last publicly available photograph of Theo dates back to 1971, in the immediate aftermath of his release. However, a rare glimpse of the brothers together was captured in 1987 by journalist Franz Ruch, but such instances were few and far between. Additionally, both Theo and his brother Karl, reputed to own a secluded island in the North Sea, engaged in hobbies that included golf and the collection of antique typewriters. Theo's residence, a fortified estate with a view of the Ruhr Valley, exemplified his commitment to thriftiness, a trait that extended to his collection of pencil stubs, preference for simple attire, and unpretentious diet, heavily featuring potatoes. And his attention to cost-saving measures was famously highlighted when he critiqued the thickness of paper used for architectural plans, suggesting that thinner paper could yield financial savings. In the years that ensued, the Albrecht family's inclination for discretion and the legacy of the kidnapping incident continued to exert a profound influence on their operations and internal relationships, as we'll see in the next chapter. During the latter half of the 20th century, particularly Aldi embarked on an ambitious journey that would eventually position it as a dominant force in the global retail market. The Albrecht brothers embraced a methodical approach to international expansion, blending caution with precise calculation by pinpointing markets ripe for growth, with a particular focus on regions where the competitive climate was favorable for a discount retailer making its debut. And Europe proved fertile ground, with Aldi opening its doors in countries closely connected to its German roots, such as Belgium, the Netherlands, and Denmark. The entry into the Belgian market was particularly noteworthy, as Aldi established an impressive presence with approximately 260 outlets, culminating in annual sales reaching the $1 billion mark by 1992. But this pattern of growth was not unique to Belgium. In both the Netherlands and Denmark, Aldi successfully introduced its retail model, securing a significant share of the grocery market. Naturally, the ambition of the Albrecht brothers stretched beyond European frontiers, casting a gaze towards the United States. Yet, despite the promising prospects, the US market was fraught with challenges, from its vast geographical and demographic diversity to a fiercely competitive retail sector. Nevertheless, in 1976, Aldi took its first step on American soil, inaugurating its inaugural store in Iowa. Despite the obstacles, Aldi's promise of delivering high-quality products at unbeatable prices struck a chord with the American populace, particularly during times of economic uncertainty. Additionally, diversification emerged as a pivotal element of Aldi's strategy during this era. You see, in the wake of Theo Albrecht's kidnapping, the brothers became increasingly reclusive and security-minded. This incident catalyzed their decision to branch out into real estate and other ventures beyond the retail sphere, a move aimed at fortifying their financial standing and safeguarding their assets against the vicissitudes of the retail industry. As the new millennium approached, the Albrecht brothers began to contemplate their legacy and the future of the Aldi empire. Soon, a generational handover unfolded amidst a backdrop of familial discord and contentious legal entanglements, notably within the Aldi Nord division. These internal frictions revolved around inheritance disputes and governance issues, threatening the cohesive control of the business empire. With the passing of Karl Albrecht Sr. in 2014, a significant shift occurred within the Aldi conglomerate, heralding a new era under the guidance of Karl Albrecht Jr. and daughter Beate Heister. And this transition underscored a pivotal moment for the retail giant, positioning it to navigate the swiftly evolving commercial landscape with renewed vision and vigor. By mid-2021, Karl Jr. had cemented his status as a luminary in the global business arena, boasting a net worth of $14.3 billion. Thus ranking him among the world's elite wealth holders. His involvement across various facets of Aldi Süd's operations, coupled with his penchant for the arts and music, showcases a blend of business acumen and personal passion. Meanwhile, Beate Heister, alongside her immediate family, has taken a proactive role in steering Aldi Süd, her fortune of $41.3 billion reflecting her prominence in the industry and her pivotal role in sustaining the company's market dominance. Under their stewardship, Aldi has not merely adhered to its core ethos of simplicity and affordability, but has also adapted to the nuances of the modern retail environment, demonstrating agility and foresight. And their strategy for Aldi's continued growth and relevance has been characterized by a harmonious blend of traditional and contemporary tactics. The company's aggressive expansion into new markets, coupled with a concerted push into digital commerce, reflects a holistic approach to growth that ensures Aldi remains a key player in the retail sector. Parallel to the endeavours of Carl Jr. and Beta Heister, first cousin Theo Albrecht Jr. continues to uphold the family's legacy through his management of Aldi Nord and Trader Joe's. With a personal fortune estimated at $20.6 billion as of mid-2021, Theo Jr.'s stewardship of Trader Joe's, in particular, highlights a successful model of cultural adaptation and retail innovation in the US market. Trader Joe's has carved out a unique niche for itself, epitomizing the fusion of quality, value, and distinctiveness that appeals to a broad segment of American consumers. And the late Bertold Albrecht, as Theo Jr.'s sibling, also partook in the mammoth family inheritance, commanding a net worth estimated at $17.8 billion at his passing. Furthermore, his tenure significantly influenced Aldi Nord's trajectory, particularly in the US market through Trader Joe's. Nonetheless, his death ignited a familial dispute over the inheritance, subsequently resolved by restructuring the corporate framework. Now, the Albrecht lineage's fortune is inextricably linked to Aldi's prosperity, a chain now sprawling across the globe with thousands of outlets. Despite their vast riches, the family opts for a reserved lifestyle, eschewing the limelight in favor of privacy, which, after all they've been through, is somewhat understandable. And now we'd love to see you in the comments. Which secretly wealthy European family would you like us to feature next on this channel? We look forward to hearing from you, and thanks again for joining us for another episode. Cheers, until next time.